Hey guys, my name is Ethan, this is Carberra, and welcome to the series where I teach you how to analyze and visualize data in Python. Today I'm going to be showing you how to load data into something called a pandas data frame, and I'm also going to be showing you how to save it back out into a file. So a pandas data frame is an incredibly useful little thing that kind of acts like a table. It has all your rows and it has your columns, and you can access things very quickly. It's all written in C and it's implemented in Python, so it's all very fast. And it's very easy to use, and it's just very versatile and very tactile. Of course, if you find the video helpful at any point, then consider liking to let me know and subscribing so you don't miss out on new videos in this series. But yeah, with that, let's get into it. So today we actually start doing our first bit of data analysis. Well, I say analysis, we're just loading the data in at the moment. But you know, in order to analyze the data, we need to be able to load it in. And I'm also going to be showing you how to save the data as well into a different format. So we're going to be loading from an XLSX, so an Excel spreadsheet, and we're going to be saving as a CSV. In all future videos, we're going to be just loading the CSV straight up because it's easier to work with. But I just want to be able to show you that you can load in Excel and you can save to stuff as well, and that all works out fine. So we're going to create we're going to create a new file in here. We're going to call this 3. And we're just going to call this loading dash data. Again, you can call it whatever you want. Just make sure that it ends with .ipynb. So done that, we can create. We can wait for the kernel to connect up, and we can get going. So we don't really need this matplotlib inline because we're not doing anything in matplotlib. I'm just including it to get you into the habit of just putting it there, because when you do actually do stuff in matplotlib, it's going to be useful to have. And I keep forgetting to put it anyway, so there you go. And we're going to import pandas as PD. Now this as PD is a standard as far as I can tell. If you've never seen this syntax before, it essentially just says that you want to import the pandas library, but you want to refer to it as PD. So you would do, say, pd.read CSV, for example, which we'll be showing you in a second. Ignore this warning, my Python install is weird. You probably won't get that warning, and if you do, you don't need to worry about it. So we can do df, or our data frame, pd.read xl, so /datasets, would it be /datasets? No, it'd be /datasets, it'd be, which one is it? It'd be complete dash 2020.slsx. So those following along with these particular datasets, you would want these. However, those not, of course, would probably want something different. And for this particular dataset, we want index col equals 0. So if I quickly show you, the CSV, because it's the same idea. It's structured the same, it's just in format. So we have all these different columns, and this first one, if I can scroll up to the top, there we go. So this first column here is our index column. Not all data frames, not all data sets will have a column like this. So if you don't have a column that just goes 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, then you can omit this index column equals 0, and it will actually create one for you. It needs one to be able to work everything out. So you can either specify one or you can let it create one for you. But in this particular instance, we do want to actually specify that the index column is the 0th column, and we want to use that. And then you have all of these other things, the day views, red views. There's quite a lot of different things. I go over them all in the analytics video that I made. I'll put another card up there. Yeah, as you can see, this is what it should look like, and this is what it will look like when we actually load it in. So to actually see what the data looks like, we can just do df.head. Again, we don't need to print it as we are in a notebook. If you're in a Python script, then of course you would need to print it, but because this is the last line of this cell, it will automatically print what this returns. So we can do that, load it in, doesn't take too long to load. As you can see, df.head actually returns the first 5 rows. If we were to do tail, it would return the last 5. And if you just print df entirely, it will just print a formatted summary of them. However, we just want df.head just to make sure that everything looks okay. And it's actually printing a formatted summary of the columns because there are quite a few of them here. But as you can see, it all looks to have loaded in okay. However, this particular data set does have a bit of a weird quirk to it. And this is this day column. So as you can see, this day column is in a specific format. So it's in ISO, whatever the ISO number is, I'll put a text up. But it's at a particular standard. So year, month, day. This is just kind of how dates typically work. However, if we were to pass this into our data frame, this at the moment is just a string, and pandas won't treat it as a date time sort of thing, and it will get really confused and weird. So we do need to convert this particular column. So what we can do is we can do df.day. So to access a column, it works the same as a dictionary. So we are accessing our column called day out of df, and that returns this whole column here. So everything I'm highlighting will be selected. It will be returned as a pandas series, which is somewhat similar to a list or an array, really. We don't need that open anymore. So what we're doing is we're just setting this entire column into a date time column, so pandas can handle it properly. And we actually need to specify the format manually. So y, m, and then d as a dash. So as I said, this will convert to date time our day column of our data frame, and this is the format in which the date currently is. So if the date is different for you, then make sure to change that. And then we are assigning that to df.day, so we are replacing what's currently in df.day with that, and it won't look any different right now, but I promise you it will work properly now. So the next thing I want to show you is the different types of the columns. So if we just create another cell here and we do df.d types or data types, then we can get a column by column overview of what the date type, what the data type actually is. So as we talked about before, our day is now a date time 64. I'm not really sure what this ns thing is. I presume that means it's to nanosecond precision, although I don't quite know why that is, because it doesn't need to be. But either way, this allows us, as I said, to do date time operations properly. If you have a string, actually, if I get rid of this for a second, if I run all of them down, you can see it's because it's a string, it's an object. And this object is treated as an individual object. And essentially the reason we need to change it is because matplotlib is weird. And it sucks. So we just need to change that manually here. So as you can see, most of them are int 64s. We've got a few float 64s in here. So this essentially maps to our int and our float Python data type respectively, although because this is a C library, it's going on C types and not Python types. We don't really need to worry about this a lot of the time. I just kind of wanted to show you this. Another thing I want to show you is df.shape. Now this is, I'm not actually typing. Why am I not typing? Df.shape. Now this is really very useful. So df.shape shows you the number of rows and the number of columns in our data set. So this particular one has 366 rows and 36 columns. And that, I believe, doesn't include the index column. I can just change that real quick. So as you can see, we have two index columns now. And it's now, it does include the index column, I think. No, it doesn't include the, I don't know. Whichever way around is correct is the way around that I mean. There you go, that's smart. But as you can see, it's the number of rows and number of columns. I'm pretty sure it doesn't include the index in this, though I can probably go back and check in editing. So this is really useful to have. Of course, if you want a number of rows, you can just do that. That's just a really useful one to know. The next thing I want to show you is actually saving stuff. So I'm going to do df.to CSV. So this will now convert our data frame object into a CSV. For some reason, Visual Studio Code is not updating via the app repository. I really don't know why. It's getting very annoying. So we could just do we'll just do we'll do test.csv. That'll put it in the root directory alongside our README. So if you run that, as you can see, we have a new CSV here. And if you load this, we can preview it and we can see, oh, it's the same as our complete 2020 CSV. So this was loaded from the XLSX file and is now being saved into our CSV, or a CSV that we've called test this particular time. Get rid of that. So the last thing I want to show you is one, just to prove that this is definitely in a format we can read, and two, I want to show you how to read CSVs because it's going to be very useful. So we're going to do pd.read CSV /test.csv. We can set our index column equal to 0 as we did before, and then we can do, well, it should be df equals, and then df.head, and then it will eventually get around to doing that. There we go. Actually, we can set it to df2, I think, and then we just run the whole thing just to show you that they are definitely different. As you can see, it loads in our test CSV and it prints out the data in it. So that is the basics of loading and saving data, although you will need to load a lot more than you would need to save, but I'm just kind of showing you how to do it as soon as I'm here. As always, if you have any questions, don't be scared to leave a comment below, or you can ask in the Discord server using the link in the description. But with that, I just want to thank my amazing patrons for being as amazing as they are. I used the same word both times that time. And I'll see you next time where we talk about selecting rows and columns. So we're actually going to be doing a little bit more about what I did kind of up here. We're going to be going more in depth into how this works and everything. So I'll see you for that.